Hey guys, so the live action Lilo and Stitch has been one of my most anticipated movies of the year, especially after the trailer came out. It looked like a lot of fun, the cast looked great, and it looked like it was going to stay true to the heart of the original story while maybe doing some new things as well. But did it meet my expectations? I'm gonna be honest, not completely. I liked it, but I wouldn't say that I loved it. There will be some minor spoilers in this discussion, but I will warn you before I go into any major spoilers that I want to discuss. But if you're on the internet, you may have already seen those things. Thought I'd let you know anyway. So first, the good stuff. The casting is mostly good. The little girl who played Lilo, not going to try to pronounce her name, did very well, especially as it was her first ever role. Another name I'm not going to try to pronounce is who played Nani, but she did very well with what she was given. More on that later. Courtney B. Vance, of course, was great. Billy Magnuson was an excellent casting choice for Pleakley. He portrayed the silliness of the character in a way that was very true to the original. And of course, Chris Sanders as Stitch, he's the original voice, so as you would expect, it's exactly the same. And as for Zach Galifianakis as Jumba, he's a good actor. And he's funny, but sometimes those roles come along where, despite even a great actor being cast in the role, it still doesn't fit. And I'm sorry to say, I feel like that's the case here with Zach as Jumba. While he's playing it in disguise and he looks like a human, he's fine. He does well. But man, his voice does not fit the CGI version of the character at all. Part of it may be just because it's not what I'm used to, but I don't think so. It doesn't meld together very well. You've got this really interesting looking character design with this, quite frankly, really bland voice. I just feel like it was such a mistake to get rid of the accent. For animated characters, even CGI animated characters like this, especially when they look so much like the original animated characters, voice carries so much of the personality. And it just doesn't feel like he has a personality when he's the alien character, if that makes sense. I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. And also, here's where we get into slight spoilers. Making him the main villain at the end... Okay, so they said they tried to work Gantu in, but they couldn't. I guess that's okay, but couldn't you have come up with another Gantu-like character instead of using Jumba? Jumba in the original becomes such an ally in the sequels and the show and everything. It feels like such a disservice to the character, but I don't know. It's another version of the story. It's not the end of the world. I just would have preferred to see the original version of the story, I guess part of what is fun for me about these live-action remakes is seeing how the characters we know translate to the big screen, and Jumba here does not really feel like the character we know. He's this weird Jumba Gantu crossover that he's honestly a mediocre villain. When this movie sticks to the original story and the original characters, it does so very well. I enjoyed most of the movie. It's just towards the end where it starts to fall apart for me. I do wonder if some of this was budgetary, because this was originally supposed to be a streaming film for Disney Plus, and it doesn't feel like they threw any more money at it for the big screen. I have a feeling maybe the no Gantu, the smaller climax, which the climax is so much smaller. There's no big spaceship chase at the end. Without that, it just feels kind of anticlimactic in a way, and it is so easy for Lilo and Stitch to escape Jumba that it's just too easy, if that makes sense. But again, I do wonder if that was budget. I kind of wish this had started out as a theatrical film, so maybe they could have thrown a little more money at it and we could have gotten maybe a better climax, or I don't know, maybe it should have just stayed on streaming. But Disney is going to make a ton of money off of this. They already are, so whatever. And here we have the biggest spoiler. Guys, I really didn't like that ending. I don't know that it's quite as bad as people are making it out to be online, but the more I think about it, the more it doesn't fit into the themes of the original or the characters of the original. I'm not going to go into exactly what happened for spoilers' sake in case you haven't seen it but you still want to keep watching. But if you have seen it, this part is mainly for you guys, I guess. It's part of a really dumb trend where filmmakers seem to think, oh, this is how it would go in real life, so we should show it that way. No, people go to the movies to escape real life, not... and someone on Facebook did point out to me, the message comes across as more anti-Ohana than it should be. For a film that's supposed to be about family, it just doesn't... I don't know, it doesn't really stick the landing very well, but I will say I don't think that's what they were going for. She doesn't just desert her sister like some people online are making it sound like. Lilo tells her to go because she cares about her big sister and wants what's best for her. And, that's part of what families do as well. They make sacrifices for each other, and we all have to, separate eventually. So I don't think it was meant to be anti-family, progressive, woke messaging or anything like that, but it still doesn't feel right. All through both versions of the film, she is determined to find a way for them to stay together, and when it doesn't happen in this version, it just feels like a failure. I'm not a big fan of this trend either of, having our heroes fail because, oh, that's more realistic, that's what life is like, or something like that. And I also just felt so random and tacked on at the end when everything else about the character beforehand felt true to the original. At least there was a compromise. They can still see each other like all the time, and Nani apparently has that portal gun so she can go visit her. If you didn't stay for the mid-credit scene, you really should have, because that kind of helped me accept it a lot more. I still don't like it, but it helped me accept it a lot more. I don't know, guys. If it worked for you, I'd love to hear why, but it really didn't work for me. And it's what keeps this movie from being higher in my rating. I think I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 because, I don't know, all in all, I feel like this was a pretty good movie, but it could have been so much better, and it just kind of feels like a lost opportunity. But anyways, guys, that's all from me. Let me know what you thought of this movie, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.